Hey, I'm Somebody Like You. What you're about to listen to is a speech from my Somebody Like You lecture circuit, where I'm talking about the relationship between anxiety and our ego. There's no doubt during the speech I'm channeling my inner Alan Watts. It's always really cool when spiritual philosophies get to be intertwined with mental health studies. So, as you listen, tune into your inner Alan Watts, listen, and let me know what you think in the comments. And I hope you enjoy this conversation about the relationship between anxiety and our ego. What we're going to talk about today is the relationship between anxiety and our ego. So many of us think that anxiety is who we are. It's our personality trait. The thing about it is anxiety is just an expression of a survival mechanism in the body. Where we get tied up is when our ego attaches and identifies to this anxiety. You'll hear people all of the time talking about, I am anxious, I have anxiety, almost as if they are its gatekeeper. They are responsible for the well-being of this anxiety. Anxiety is not meant to be taken care of or to be expressed as one's own. What anxiety is a survival mechanism. It's a firing off of the amygdala to send a response to the body that you are in danger. But we don't live in the Serengeti anymore, where at 2 o'clock in the morning we're worried about lions and tigers and bears coming to kill us. Oftentimes these anxious feelings fire off when we're in our home office, when we're at work, places we've been a million times. The disconnect is it is telling us we are in danger when we are not in danger. Our ego is attaching to our anxiety, or what we are referring to as our anxiety. It's not our anxiety. Have you ever heard somebody say, I'm the most stubborn person you'll ever meet? There is no one more hard-headed than me. It's almost as if it's their badge of honor. People are wearing anxiety as if it is their badge of honor. When people tell me they're the most stubborn person or the most anxious person or they have the worst anxiety, I always ask them one question. Are you proud of that? And it always starts with a no, but. There's always the but. You can't get away from the but in these situations. No, but it's just something I've lived with my entire life. No, but my dad was this way, so I'm this way. I said, do you think you have to be this way forever? It's just in my genes. It's just in my DNA. Perhaps a little bit, but it doesn't mean you have to be that way forever. There's science out there now that talks about neuroplasticity, neural pathways, retraining the brain, all of these things. Have you ever heard of the phrase, neurons that fire together, wire together? Yes. You're just attaching past experiences and things you've experienced and witnessed when maybe in your family or your friends or your teachers, your bosses, and you identify as that's the way it's supposed to be. Your anxiety is not your badge of honor. It is just simply a survival mechanism for the body to survive. But we get so lost in all of the social medias and the dramas, the news cycles, the drama in everybody's lives that we identify this anxiety, this fear of not being safe as our given birthright. You're meant to feel safe. And when anxiety pops up, you think of it as this disorder. Now, many of us will sit here and say there's anxiety disorders all over the place. So many of us are diagnosed with anxiety disorders. What if I gave you something to think about? What if I said anxiety is not a disorder, it's just the way that you live your life? You experience anxious feelings. You do not have anxiety, you experience anxious feelings. Do you see the difference there? Two different things. A disorder makes it seem like there is something wrong with you. It makes it seem like you are a walking defect. But if I was to say you just experience anxious feelings once in a while, maybe more often than not, it's a completely different way that your subconscious mind listens to you speak. You have and experience anxious feelings. You are not a walking anxiety disorder, no matter what they'll tell you. No matter what medicine they try to say will solve this, they'll give you this medicine that's going to make it worse. Did you ever see the pharmaceutical commercials? This is a depression pill. Side effects are more depression. But don't worry, we have another pill for that. You have been taught that anxiety, depression, these mental health defects, they'll call it, is something wrong with you. Now, it may feel like there is something wrong with you, but you are just experiencing the world in your own unique way. If you ever have had a coaching session with me or come to one of my other lectures, you'll hear me say this all the time. Anxiety is not the problem. You experience anxious feelings is not the problem. Your desire not to feel anxious is the problem. So many of us aren't comfortable feeling anxious that we think it has to be wrong, that we are wrong. We have to judge ourselves for this. Why are we taught that? Because other people judge ourselves for this. When you're not comfortable, maybe you were bullied in school, maybe you got something wrong at work, and your boss came down to you and told you, this isn't right. You are terrible. You need to go home right now. Or you were bullied for wearing the wrong sweatshirt to school that day. You had a sweater instead of a shirt. And all the kids ruthlessly made fun of you. Now, how are you supposed to go about your life living calmly with whatever shirt you decide to wear each day because you were taught that there's a right and wrong shirt? You do everything in your ability not to feel those emotions because they don't feel good. Now, that's understandable when we don't know any better. But right now, today, you understand that anxiety is not the problem. It's your desire and your uncomfortable feelings that are associated with it. Your desire not to feel anxiety changes everything. It no longer puts the target on anxiety as this big bad wolf that has come to shake you. It's come to teach us that we just have to become more comfortable in feeling the emotion. We're a human being. Human beings are designed to feel emotions all across the spectrum, not one better than the other. Now, albeit some feelings certainly do feel better than the others. But at the end of the day, they're all just feelings. And our desire to feel some and not feel others is ridiculous. How can you want to feel one so many times and all day long, and when another one comes, you want to run from it? That's part of the human experience. That's part of what we do as humans, is we experience feelings and emotions. Have you ever seen one of those feelings wheels? The colorful wheels that list hundreds of emotions on them? All those emotions are on the wheel for a reason, because you are meant to feel those emotions. Now, the energetic charge you attach to that and the feeling you attach to that, whether it be your ego identifying as it or your body and your mind not wanting to feel it, that's part of the experience as well. I bet there's a feeling on there for that feeling. So remember, when it comes to your anxiety or your anxious feelings, right? There I go. Your anxiety, our anxiety. When it comes to those anxious feelings, the anxiety itself is not the problem as much as it feels like it is. The problem is you don't want to feel it. So what do? Well, we have to become comfortable feeling it, right? We have to sit with it when we feel it. We have to recognize when it comes in. Now, when we're sitting at the office or we're lying in bed and our heart starts pounding out of our chest or our mind starts racing endlessly, it doesn't feel good. But that's when you just sit there and you observe the thoughts and the feelings. Do your best not to attach to them. Breathe through them. Allow them to be there. The more you sit and the more you allow them to be there, allow them to have a voice, the quicker they end up going away. These feelings are just like any other feelings. They just want to be heard and they just want to be felt. Feelings are meant to be felt. So the more you push down or hide under the covers from these feelings, the louder and stronger they're going to come back. And they will get you. Trust me, you cannot outrun these feelings as much as you've been taught you think you can. they will come back, and they will come back louder until they just say, please listen to me. All these feelings need are a hug. Welcome in, put them on the couch, pour them a glass of water and let them sit there and feel. Now, that doesn't mean as they're sitting on the couch that you have to tend to them night and day as if they're an Airbnb host. You just welcome them in, turn on the television, say, relax a little bit. You've had a tough day. Now you go about your day. You still do these things. You allow yourself to sit, feel, and understand what these emotions are trying to tell you, because that's what they're trying to do. Emotions are trying to tell you things. We just often are so busy that we don't want to listen to it. Have a short conversation with it. Ask, what is it that you are trying to tell me? What have I been ignoring? What have I been burying so deep that you keep coming up? And I bet you will find an answer. You will know almost instantly. It's like without a shadow of a doubt, it just pops into your head. It's almost a feeling in your body. You know why it is here. Now, whether you address that or not, that will be totally up to you. No, I don't advise or give advice, but in my experience, I have found that sitting with, understanding, and working with that feeling tends to build a healthier relationship with it. That's all this is building a healthier relationship with the anxiety. Have you and your boss, or you and your friend, or you and your mother or father or sister ever gotten into a fight? I'm sure you have, or a disagreement. But there's a relationship there. There's trust there. You and your best friend do not always see eye to eye. In fact, what probably makes you best friends is your similar feelings but differing viewpoints. You respect what they say. Same thing with anxiety. It's just trying to protect you. You guys are both viewing the world. It just has a different perspective. Listen to it. It's interesting. It's scared of a lot more things than you think it is. Build a relationship with anxiety and other emotions, but this lecture in particular is about anxiety and our relationship to it. Think of it as a relationship. Don't think of it as this feeling that is coming to haunt you forever. Don't be scared of it. Welcome it. It's just like any other emotion. When happiness or joy comes along, you don't say, oh, go away. I don't want to experience you. You've come here too much. No. You welcome it. You say, thank you for being here. You might be scared that it's going to go away too soon. But don't push away anxiety and tell it to never come back. It's trying to help you. The greatest lessons are learned through feelings of fear, anxiety, and things like that. It teaches us. It speaks to us. So the more you push it away, the more you're delaying yourself learning the lessons you know you're meant to learn. So what are these lessons that your anxiety, your anxious feelings are trying to teach you? Because everything is a pattern. If you ever heard Nikola Tesla say everything is energy, frequency, and vibrations, anxiety is no different. It's just a radio station that you're tuning into. What songs are playing on the radio station? What is this radio station you're on trying to teach you? Maybe it's trying to teach you that you should come to a lecture about anxiety to better understand it and build a relationship with it. Now, I know this isn't easy, especially if you're somebody who is experiencing intense anxious feelings, and it does feel all-consuming in your life, and it has been affecting your decision. There's this thing called agoraphobia, that anxiety and panic disorders that don't allow people to leave their house. Trust me, I should know. I have it. I almost wore that as a badge of honor. Hey, look at me. I can't leave my house. I was almost proud of it. Until you get caught up in your house for 2.5 months, 3 months, and realize this isn't fun anymore. I don't think I want to tell so many people about this. You struggle to get outside. Anxiety is the same thing. It's every decision you're making is being steered by this feeling of anxiety. That's no way to live. Build a relationship with it. Recognize when it's talking. So many of us are now conditioned to think that our baseline of thinking and decision-making is through the lens of anxiety. So many decisions we make are from the viewpoint and the fear of anxious feelings. We don't even recognize it anymore because in such a young age, we've been watching news and now social media with kids growing up that we're in a constant state of fight or flight. The sympathetic nervous system is working overtime, and it is getting paid well. It doesn't want to stop. So when you create a better relationship with it, a healthier relationship with it, doesn't mean that you won't want to punch it in its face from time to time, but you'll understand that it comes and it goes. It's not here. It doesn't have to be here all of the time. There's breathing techniques. You've probably heard of the term box breathing. And if not, it's a simple breathing technique. We all can do it whenever we want. You breathe in for 4 seconds. You hold for 4 seconds. You breathe out for 4 seconds. And then you hold for 4 seconds. I'm not going to sell you any pill here. I'll just teach you about a simple thing that we all can do. Breathing. And if you're one of those people that wonder, why does breathing help? Because it activates the parasympathetic nervous system. All that is your rest and digest system, all part of the autonomic nervous system. Now, these are all fancy terminologies to let people know that I know what I'm talking about. They'll hear therapists and doctors and stuff use this terminology to comment people like you and I, and we'll be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So all we need to know is breathing helps the fight or flight. It helps calm it. It helps regulate us. You hear this term thrown around: meditation, mindfulness, grounding, presence, nature therapy, all of these things. All it wants us to do is come back to the present moment. And the present moment isn't without anxious feelings. Sometimes when we're feeling anxious, the best thing we can do is feel anxious. Sit there, observe it. Create a healthy relationship with the feeling that you're experiencing. While you're in it, that's the time I like to call it the golden nuggets. You're going to get the most golden nuggets because you're going to realize that you're okay. That this is anxiety, we can name it. This is an anxious feeling. And when I'm feeling anxious, I maybe get a tingle up and down my arms. My legs go numb. My heart races. My mind, I can see my thoughts running around my mind. When those pop up, you go, this is just anxious feelings. You recognize it. It's not as scary anymore because you recognize the signs. It's hard because so many of us go from 0 to 100 so quickly that we don't see the buildup. I promise you, this anxiety starts far before you ever think you're in the peak of it. So the earlier we can recognize this, the earlier we can see it coming, the earlier we can build a relationship with it. It doesn't have to speak or shake or yell so loudly to get our attention. It just wants to be heard. There's these 4 systems I like to talk about. It's our physical, our mental, our emotional, and our spiritual. You can do a systems check. When I'm feeling anxious, which one of these things are out of alignment? Because I'm willing to bet one of, if not more, are out of alignment. Have I been taking care of my physical body? What have I been eating? Have I been moving? Or have I been sitting in my chair all day like a lump on a log? My mental. Have I been observing my thoughts? Have I been intentional with where I've been putting my attention? Or have I been so caught up in all this drama I see on TV, in the workplace, on social media, on the news, all of these things? Have I been intentional with my mental space? Your emotional. Have you been sitting with and listening to your emotions? Or have you just been letting them run a marathon all by themselves, untrained? Checking with your emotions, learning to sit with them, building a relationship with them. That's what emotional health looks like. Spiritual now, this word will get a lot of people to clench their fists and look at me like I'm some kind of weird spiritual guru. That is the farthest from the truth. Spiritual health can be your relationship with the universe. It can be your relationship with your sense of purpose of being here. If you call it God, it can be called God. It doesn't matter. It's all just words. It's all just language. It's more of a feeling. So when I say you're spiritual, think of it as your purpose, your reason for being here, your guiding light, your intuition, your pull, the universal, cosmic, whatever. Have you checked in with that lately, or you have just been floating along? Have you been following your sense of purpose? Have you been designing this best self of yours, your aligned self that we talk about? Those 4 systems, when they are not in alignment, you will be experiencing things like panic disorder, anxiety disorders, things like that. Now, that does not discredit for chemical imbalances and things like that, but so many of us are just not taught to have a relationship with these feelings. We're just taught from the beginning that we are broken if we don't feel good all of the time. It is impossible to feel good all of the time. You're not designed to. Have you ever heard of the law of duality? If you haven't, the law of duality means, simply put, happiness cannot exist without sadness. If we were just happiness all the time, it wouldn't be happiness. It would just be. We wouldn't know anything else. Now, that might sound good, but you don't experience happiness if you don't know what sadness feels like. You don't know what light is if you don't know what dark is. Light is just light. Without darkness, it's just what is. You won't even recognize it's there. You don't know that there's anything else. But when the darkness comes, when the night comes, or when the bad comes, we said, oh, I want to be good. I want to feel that light again. I want to put that sun on my face. I want to feel happiness. I want to feel joy. Because you know what sadness and darkness feels like. So when you're feeling anxiety and you're feeling these unwanted or undesirable things, just recognize we have to feel this in order to know what the good stuff feels like. But so many times when the good stuff comes, we don't recognize it as good. We think this should be our baseline. This is what it is. That's just not true. Everything just flows back and forth. Once again, it comes back to the desire to feel and not to feel things. The work taught through social media and these unrealistic expectations of what life should look like through a lens of a pocket square phone, that we think we should just feel good and live in the mountains and experience this beautiful fall seasons and the cool breeze and all of the time year round. It's just not possible. We desire that so much that when we have it, we fear losing it. And it puts us right back into a loop of depression and anxiety. Everything is just a present moment. The good, the bad, the light, the dark, the happy, the sad. Nothing is better than the other. They just simply are. They just simply are what they are, and you're just experiencing the present moment of it. One might feel better than the other, but it's not better. It's just a thing that you can put on an emotions wheel. It's a feeling that we all feel, and you are designed as a human to feel it. Anxiety is no different. It is just a feeling that you are experiencing in a moment that you don't want to feel it. You would thank the anxiety if it was 2 o'clock in the morning and there was a lion sitting next to your bed ready to eat you. You would thank anxiety up and down the street for helping you wake up and move and get out of that situation. Granted, you're fortunate enough to get out of that situation. So remember, anxiety is not the problem, whether it be at work, at home, anywhere. It's your desire not to feel the anxious feelings. And how do we fix that? How do we work with that? We just build a relationship with the feeling. When it pops up, if you're feeling anxious right now, just observe it. And remember, it's okay to feel this. You don't have to push the anxiety away. Welcome it in. Pour a glass of water. Turn on the television. Let it watch, hang out, let it talk to you. But go about your business. It doesn't have to control your day or shut you down. Your relationship with anxiety is what is going to help change your identification of being an anxious person.